Uh-oh. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 174. That is 174, the Japan's Suicide Forest. And what is the official name of that, Travis?
Aokigahara.
That is it. I will not be saying that word because then I would be a racist. I cannot say it because you have to say this stuff in a Japanese accent. As me being a Caucasian, I cannot say this stuff. You have heritage from
A little bit.
a little bit. But as always, I am Phil, and Travis is sitting to my left. Say hi, Travis.
Hi, Travis.
Never gets fucking old. Never gets old.
There's definitely porn stars named Phil. First off, the most important thing here, you were wrong in the pre-show.
What was that?
Let's see, Phil Bradley, handsome 1990s gay porn star. Apparently there's a genre of Dr. Phil porn videos.
Dr. Phil.
Phil Holiday is a French pornographic actor / director. Phil Barone. Phil Barone III is an American adult film actor and director. He is also what? Wait, I thought I noticed that name, or I kind of know that name. Phil, as a drummer for who?
Phil Collins?
No, Phil Collins is his own thing.
No. I do not know.
I don't know. It won't let me click. It's probably for the best.
Probably that'd be.
Oh, here we go.
Oh shit.
Hotmovies.com. Yeah, who the fuck is he? Play drums for? I know that guy. Piercings, nipple. In case you were wondering. Tattoos numerous, including sleeves on both arms. He is Caucasian, 5'10". He is born on October 15th, 1967. He's from Long Island, New York. He is a Caucasian male. Several famous American bands. Which fucking bands, dickhead? Skid Row. Motley Crue. Oh, he played in Vince Neil's solo band. Saigon Kick, whatever the fuck that is.
I've heard of them. They were back in my day.
Oh, there's his penis.
Oh, well, we don't need to show that on YouTube.
It is a hammer, though. I'll give him that.
Well, you know,
Congratulations, Phil
thank you.
Barone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
He's got a big old schlong on him.
All right, let's go ahead and get into Japan's Suicide Forest. Now, this episode is going to be a little bit dark. What's up, Smoking Within? That's a nice name. It's new, too. I don't believe
Until I get further proof, I'm going to assume that it's fucking Gonzo. Because every time we see a new name, it's Gonzo trying to fuck with us.
But if you are not Gonzo, welcome. No, but today we're doing Japan's Suicide Forest. Now, this naturally will cover suicide, so it's not going to be a normal Ghost in the Night episode. You can't find funny in suicide. We could try, but that might be a poor taste.
It's not the act is not funny.
No.
I might make jokes about if we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein, I'll make all the jokes.
That's funny
because he's a fucking sack of shit. Now, if we're talking about Robin Williams, I'll still probably make a joke, but that's because it's Robin Williams and he would want it that way.
Right, but
I don't want to be about his death.
So we are going. This is a serious topic, you know.
It is,
and suicide is something more people. It's not talked about enough, honestly.
Especially amongst young males.
Right. I mean, because everybody goes through times in their life where, let's face it, they're down and, they think about...
Yeah.
Everybody
I dare any, true adult human being that lives an adult life and actually has responsibilities to say that they've never had somewhat of an inkling cross their mind about doing something like that.
Right. I mean, we've all hit hard times and, thought maybe, what,
yeah.
it just might be easier to not deal with it. And actually, when I had COVID, there was a time I said, you know what, it'd just be easier.
Jesus.
If you're going to take me now, just go ahead and do it. No.
But it is a real thing. I've dealt with it, and then you throw in, God forbid somebody has suicide, has depression,
right,
or any fucking, or run the whole gambit of mental disorders or whatever you want to call them. It just gets worse.
Yeah,
So that being said,
yeah,
if anybody out there that's listening to this ever has any of these thoughts or these problems, I'm sure you have friends that you can talk to or family members, or if you really feel like it, you can reach out and DM us on Instagram. I'll talk to you about your problems. It fucking sucks, and we all go through it. And if you don't want to do that and you feel embarrassed or anything like that to admit this to somebody that you know, feel free to call 800-273-8255, which is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Again, 800-273-8255. They're available 24 hours a day. They are there to help people deal with shit that people deal with.
You know, yeah. I mean, suicide is horrible. It's complex. It's just not black and white. People have to overcome these issues. They struggle. And, you know, life is hard, and often, you know, people feel like they just can't go on, or they need to end it to end the pain. And there's always help out there. You know, there's always, I kind of live by the motto, tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
And, you know, hopefully tomorrow will be better. Because trust me, there's days where I have to find a reason to keep moving on.
Well, and then there's also the old credo of the only guarantee you get in life is a life worth fighting for.
Yeah, so this episode might be a little dark, so we might take it a little bit more seriously than we normally do. I'm sure at the end we'll have some dick and fart jokes, so don't worry, we won't let you down.
Oh, they'll get mixed in here no matter what.
But, you know, like I said, we can't make a lot of jokes about this, so we're going to cover the facts and what is going on at this forest, and then have a little fun.
I mean, there's fun that can be sprinkled in, but not our traditional stuff.
Yeah, so let's see. Now, when we talk about the top, I think suicide is a fascinating topic with the paranormal. I mean, obviously, if a person does feel is struggling with life and issues and having, you know, not that it's bad, but having some mental problems,
like the video.
Yes, like the video. They are tormented.
Mm-hmm.
They're a tormented soul, and when they pass away, or when they take that final act and end their life, you know, we've all, you know, the religious folk will say, you know,
you go to purgatory or
you're
some
done.
shit.
There's no, do not pass go, do not.
You don't get heaven or hell. You
Go.
get purgatory forever.
It's a one-way ticket, and you can't be redeemed from this unless you do the ultimate sacrifice, like Constantine did in the movie.
You get put into the God's version of the human centipede, where everybody just poops back and forth forever.
Yeah, so I think so. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure
but
that's
I'm gonna roll
what
with that.
I'm pretty sure that's what the Old Testament said purgatory is.
Yeah. So, you know, I think
fucking Leviticus or
I
some
think it is
shit.
very possible that whenever there's a suicide, it makes it ripe for paranormal activity, because I've talked to you about it, and I've said on this podcast, I believe a lot of residual energy is just a residual haunting is a playback.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot more, like, I'm not downplaying or upplaying anybody's style of death, if you will. It doesn't matter what flair you sprinkle on it. It sucks no matter what when somebody passes away. But there's a lot more going on potentially with the energy and the all the other shit involved within the human body of somebody who has been pushed to the point where they feel that they need to take their own life,
right,
than somebody who, you know, just is dying of a horrible cancer or natural causes, which again fucking sucks. I'm not downplaying it.
Well,
but there's I feel like there's a different level of mojo and energy going on when it's somebody taking their own life, because like, holy fuck, it's, you know.
I had this conversation last night actually with somebody.
You went out without me? Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. But
you know, you went out without me. I'm booking a fucking flight to Japan now, just so you know.
Well, I'll call Logan Paul. Tell me a moment.
I'll sign a release form for him. He can put me on there.
No, but I made the comment, you know, I don't want to be a burden to anybody, and because as Travis likes to say, I'm old. and I'm getting, I got about 10, 15 good years. And then shit's really, the check engine light's really going to start coming on. I mean, it's already on.
I'm going to have to find another co-host.
But I made the comment that I don't want to be put in a nursing home. If I get that bad.
If it's like one of those cool, fun nursing homes, maybe.
I don't want to.
Whether you're like, they have like fucking parties every Friday night.
If I get to the point where I can't take care of myself, put a bullet in me. I'm done.
It depends on how shitty my kids are.
And like,
if my kids put me through a fuckload of hell while I'm raising them, oh, you're changing my diapers, Timmy. I'm eating Skyline and Chipotle, like both per meal per day. And I'm like everything that if I don't get forced into the surgery by that time, everything that irritates my diverticulitis, I'm eating all of it on a daily basis. And fucking Travie Jr.'s gonna have to come in with the hose and the fucking the RV brush like Turner and Hooch and get in there real nice and deep like. And then afterwards, I'm gonna be like, now go get me my cigarettes so I can watch my stories.
Right, but I think there's a difference between like if I get to the point where I don't want to be a burden, it's not or Alzheimer's or anything because that is a horrible.
Alzheimer's is a motherfucker.
Right. I made a comment. I said, if I get Alzheimer's or dementia and I wander off, I'm gonna tell my kids, don't even go look for me. Just don't say nothing.
The only bright side I could find to coming down with Alzheimer's is I love meeting new people.
And every
day.
Sunday we meet each other for the first time.
What do you want to talk about today? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, so
God, could you imagine that though? Could you imagine? They never talk about people that talk normally or foul mouthed with something like that. Like it's not a laughing matter, but it's got to be a little easier to swallow when you walk into your like uncle's like hospital room or assisted living room and you're like, who the fuck are these assholes? Who the fuck is Carl and why do you have birthday presents for him? You're Carl. The fuck I am. My name's shit.
That's
maybe I am Carl.
No,
depends on what's in them presents.
But I think there's a difference between that way of thinking about assisted suicide type shit.
Like Jack Kevorkian shit
is different than.
I don't think that what Jack Kevorkian did was as bad as some people say it is.
No,
it's not like he was going and helping healthy people fucking off themselves.
No, it's if you get to the point where an illness is taken over and your quality of life sucks, I honestly have
if I'm cool with my life ending because like I'm terminally ill and I'm not coming back and I'm just deteriorating into nothing, I don't really. I see people's argument, but from my own personal standpoint, I don't see why somebody should step in and stop me.
Right. But when it comes to releasing that energy in regards to the paranormal, there's a big difference between an assisted type suicide and actual full-blown suicide.
Wait.
What?
Keep going. I'm looking this up.
The Demon Stone thing?
News to me. I'm looking it up right now.
In my research, I heard something about it, but I didn't go down that rabbit hole. But thanks, Izzy, for bringing that up.
Go ahead.
But let's go ahead and get it. Now, Japan does have a pretty long and illustrious history with suicide.
Illustrious? That's the word we chose?
Yes. We'll get to that. I'll use that word particularly for...
Not grim or
no,
a long and storied history?
Story might be better, but not grim.
Illustrious.
Not
so we're now comparing the suicide history of a whole country to like the career of Celine Dion.
I wouldn't call that illustrious.
I would. You know how long that woman's had a fucking residency in Vegas? Do you know how much money you make off that?
She can eat a dick.
And she probably. I bet you it's Celine Dion. I bet you she lives on the tip of that fucking whatever that is. That the MGM Grand? That's the big black
that's
pyramid.
Luxor.
I bet you she lives on the tip of it, like a queen.
Probably.
She just sits there naked and like chugs wine and like spits grape seeds out to her servants. She's like, "Bring me more wine, whores."
Whores. Japan averages over 2,000 suicides per year over the last 10 years. In 2019,
how many?
20,000. I'm sorry. Did I say 2,000?
There you go. I thought you said 200,000 at first.
20,000.
What's up, G?
What's up, Gregory? 20,000 suicides per year over the last 10 years. In 2019, the country had the second highest suicide rate amongst the developed nations. As of 2020, the leading motive
Oh yeah, we're definitely sorry. We're definitely getting into this at the end of this.
Okay, the leading motive.
Hi. Yes, also volley for the cure. Also down for that one too.
There we go.
Pretty much anything where you're willing to help somebody going through a hardship or a disability or a disease, sign the GITN podcast up for that.
I did that once.
What?
Help somebody through.
Well, I thought about it because I found out there's a
I could make a joke about that.
There's a paranormal for the something. There's some like paranormal coalition that's for like cancer research or something like that.
Yeah.
I want to look into getting involved with that.
The leading motives. Well, I'm not going to look into it.
I will.
Oh, you can go ahead. I'm just dicking around right now. I'm trying. We're not to the serious part yet, but anyway, the leading motive for suicides in Japan, rather, 49% of the suicides are for health-related issues, which kind of shocked me. 17% financial or poverty-related issues, 15% household issues,
marital issues probably.
10% workplace issues.
Damn, how the fuck bad does your cubicle neighbor stink?
And this one really shocked me. 4% relationships. First and foremost.
Okay, so what's the difference between household issues and relationships?
That's what I'm thinking. And financial and poverty, fine.
Like, what is household issues? Like, you just fucking hate your kids that much?
Yeah. Isn't financial...
Like, God damn it, Hiroshita and Yoshihito, they never arisen to me.
Now, isn't financial...
I'm allowed to do that.
Because he's...
Part Japanese.
Yes. But isn't financial and poverty...
Black from the waist down.
You say white from the...
No, I mean, if I had to go, hamster from the waist down.
Yes, but isn't workplace and financial and poverty pretty much the same thing too? You think? Pretty much.
Well, see, I wonder if workplace is like getting fucked over on that promotion or that bonus or something like that. Like something you were like, because I could see it with somebody who, like, if you moved into a new like $200,000 house, upgrading from like a 3-bedroom apartment because you just knew you were going to get that fucking promotion and you didn't get it, then you're staring at the financial responsibilities. God forbid you have a family that you have to now tell, be like, we have a nice house to do, but we have no television.
That would be worth offing myself over.
Right? Well, I don't know about that. I don't think that's true, but like that would be fucking awful to have to do.
If I didn't have internet and we couldn't go live to the
no fucking porn.
No. We couldn't go live with our friends here at the GITN studios. I might off myself. Okay.
Oh, we might do. We're doing it. I'm building a fucking a cart for our new logo back here.
Sweet.
It's all coming together. We got a fucking new computer in this bitch. Shout out to my buddy Austin.
Yes.
He'll probably never watch this, but you know.
Okay. But like I was saying, Japan does have a history. I won't say illustrious, but this is why I said illustrious, because they do. You will know a lot more about this than I do. But the warrior and samurai leaders would, and I'll let you dive into a little bit. They, in a loss or disgrace, they would take their own life.
Mm-hmm.
Then in actually, the more fascinating to me and what most people will realize are the Pearl Harbor
kamikazes.
The kamikazes. I mean, you run out of bullets, fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is why I said illustrious, because that.
Because in those times, like especially in feudal Japan, it was it was an honorable thing.
Right. Now, if you're offering yourself because your girlfriend broke up with you, eat my ass. That's not illustrious. But if you die in the course, or you take yourself out in the course of battle, or trying to save the world like Bruce Willis in Armageddon, that's illustrious. That's honorable. That's wonderful.
AJ,
but
take care of my little girl.
But I have a question. Now, if you're going to hell for committing suicide, but you do commit suicide in the act of saving everybody else, I would think that's a free pass, personally. And if it's not a free pass,
like if I had to, like if somebody was like, you either shoot yourself or I kill these 10 small children.
Yes.
Like me personally, I wouldn't even.
Depends on the 10 children, whose they are.
If it's like the reincarnation of like Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, all the Kim Jongs, like
Kim Jong Dong.
fucking I don't know, Mussolini, that twat.
Or if the kids just aggravate the fuck out of me.
Yeah, you know.
But I do think there is some nobility in that aspect of the Japanese people's heritage and how they look at that. I don't consider that necessarily a suicide. Yes, technically, by definition, you're taking your own life. It is a suicide, but that is...
Well, because there's also levels to it.
Right.
Like, not everybody in the... Because when you talk about that, it mainly starts with feudal Japan and the samurai specifically. Because the samurai lived by Bushido, which is basically the warrior samurai's code of honor, and they have all these different steps and things that factor into that. But there was different socioeconomic levels to how they looked at all this, because so we'll go down the gambit, since we don't know if we're going to get that much time out of this topic, so I'll go into some detail on this. So when a samurai was, he could choose this, like if a samurai was sick or dishonored in battle or dishonored in some other way, like he could choose to do this, and it's actually super fucking gnarly, and I don't want to say badass, but it's kind of badass that these dudes actually pulled this off. So what they would do is you have the whole ceremony, because a lot of times multiple people would be doing this at one time, and it was a two-man thing, because samurais had an assistant, which is much like a squire to a knight.
Okay.
So ideally how this went is a samurai would take his choice of his sword or his knife. It would always be his.
Okay.
And then you would take a kneel, and then it's, I think, a total of, over the course of the ceremony, a total of, I believe, 4 sips of sake. They all there's representation for all of this, and then but there was a thing where it was like less than one said, I can't remember what it was. If you took less than 2, it meant one thing, and if you took more than 3 or 4, it was
you're a drunk.
You were showing how do I want to put this? Not necessarily fear, but not even that, like unsuredness of the situation.
Okay.
So anyway, a little bit of sake, which fuck that. I'm gonna need like a bottle of American honey, and like literally at that point, just give me anything. If I'm about to off myself, for sure, especially in this fashion.
Yeah.
Because you know how they did it? So they would take their knife or their sword, and then after this little ceremony, because they had a whole little thing to it, and they would take it, and then they would plunge it into, I believe, starting on the left side of their abdominal cavity, and then they would drag it across the front of them.
Nice.
And then, which opens up your stomach and all of that, and then turn it and pull it up into their chest cavity, effectively completely disemboweling themselves.
Ow.
Yes. Which you're not coming back from that in fucking like 1280 in Japan. You can't. No. Can you put it back in? Oh god. Do you have like some duct tape? So, but where the assistant comes in, because it is a very interesting thing here, is that if it's done perfectly, the assistant is there, and at the first...
You and Gregory are on the same page.
Yes. So, but what I found interesting, well, it's all interesting to me. I'm a fucking nerd. But if it's done perfectly, the assistant is there with their blade, and technically at the first sign of pain from their master, they just the head. But they don't cut it completely off. Ideally, they get 90% so that the head drops, and then they just kind of gingerly the rest off so that the head falls into like the hands and the lap of their master. apparently that is the ideal situation, which
Does it ever work?
there's
that
a
way?
lot. I would imagine, but that's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot of steps.
Jesus Christ, just take a
That's
gun.
that's what I'm saying. But then it breaks down even further to where like women within the samurai culture, because there was females in the samurai culture, because samurai was its own thing. Like it was its own people.
Right.
Not everybody was a samurai, or not everybody could be a samurai.
Tom Cruise was.
That's actually based on a true story.
Based on true
There was
story.
actually a black samurai too. He was a slave, and he ended up. I can't remember his name, but
Yeah,
apparently he ended up fucking some motherfuckers
Which
up.
is kind of no disrespect to the Japanese people, but aren't they a tad bit racist?
Mostly against other
Asians.
yeah.
Okay,
Which, history
Other
books will
Asians?
tell you all
Yes.
about that.
but to any other ethnicity, they are perfectly okay with. I mean, they're obviously not sexist. They let.
Well, I mean,
women
it's just like
be the same race.
I mean, it's weird. The whole thing is weird everywhere. It's just like you and I can go to Vietnam and it's not weird. They're not gonna be like, you fucking American pigs.
well,
They're gonna be
maybe.
like, you want buy Rolex? $5, $5. I'd be like, that's a fucking deal. Bag it up. Let's go. But so like women in samurai society could also kill themselves, but they slit their throats. They weren't technically allowed to do the traditional seppuku.
Well, it sounds like they got the better end of that deal.
There's a whole backstory to the whole thing. There's a lot of honor and this and that involved. And then at the same time, if you were just a normal citizen of Japan
Yes.
back then, you were expected that if you were going to kill yourself, you just hung yourself.
Fair enough.
So it goes so far back that there's literally socioeconomic steps and levels to how you kill yourself in Japan in the history. And then the kamikaze pilots like literally trained for hours upon hours to do what we all know they did.
Right. And with the aid of a little bit of meth, but that's okay.
There's a lot of people doing meth in World War II though. The Russians had meth,
The Nazis,
the Germans had meth, like
probably Americans.
we might not have been supposed to have meth, but I'm sure that somebody had something of the sort.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
They're out there, being Gen Z kids in the 40s popping addies.
But that is the honorable portion of the suicide talk when it comes to the Japanese culture. However, there is some fucked up shit when it comes to suicides in Japanese culture. There was a practice that the Japanese used called, what was it, ubusutu?
Let me see.
Or ubusuti? What is it? Fuck, I don't know. Right there.
Ubasute.
There you go. Now, this was basically translate to abandoning.
Throw more accent. Ubasute.
There you go. Abandoning the old woman. Now, this practice is.
Actually, with an actual accent, it's Ubasute.
This was a practice of leading elderly.
For yet again, it's good to have an Asian American on this podcast.
But they would lead.
Because I don't get yelled at for being a racist, but
not at
Phil would.
But they would lead their elderly relatives to the forest and the mountains to die. This was
even like for simple shit like not having enough food.
right. This is done to save the young and not have another mouth to feed. Now, they're kind of. We just use nursing homes.
Or COVID.
But, that is kind of screwed up. Okay.
Snuck that one in there.
What?
I said, or COVID.
What? No, but that
Cancel us. Fuck you.
that is a little shady, not illustrious, not noble necessarily, unless the person is doing it on their own free will.
I will say that. Like,
that.
I'll give it to the elderly and sick if they were like, no, fuck this. I'm gone anyway.
No.
But my only problem with that is why wouldn't you just fucking take them out? Just be like, let's go for a walk, Grandpa Ichiro. Oh yeah, I really can't wait till the apples come back in bliss.
Now there is
And then do the
now I
because
did,
as we all know, a samurai or a Japanese person with a katana, anybody with a katana, you can pull it out and fight really fast, but you have to take no less than 3 seconds to put it back into its scabbard or sheath.
yes.
and then you don't put it in it all the way. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. You don't put it in all the way. You put it in and it just pops out, and then you click it into place, and then you're like,
Now,
the Powerpuff Girls, I'm a Mojo Jojo.
now, whether this practice is actually real or not, I saw different that this might be just a legend or folklore. But
I would almost guarantee
I would
that
too.
has happened in multiple cultures across the world over history, for real. Like
Right.
it when you go back to when life was cheaper, in a way, if you will.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sure that multiple cultures have kind of 86th part of their population for the greater good. It's just like fucking what was the island where they were sending lepers to?
I don't know. I don't know. Australia? No, just joking. That's criminals. My bad.
Well, I don't know, but there's an island for everything. The term lesbian came from the island of Lesbos.
Man, Epstein Island. There's an island for fucking everything.
He had 2 islands.
that rich
People don't
bastard.
talk about that shit.
Where's the second one?
It's in the Virgin Islands or wherever the fuck.
Huh.
It's in the same chain of islands. That's an interesting one. We should do an Epstein episode.
We will.
It might be a multi-part episode. There's my motherfucker.
We will. Now let's get into, how do you say the name of this forest again?
Oh fuck! I gotta see. Aokigahara.
We're just going to call that the suicide forest.
Sorry, Aokigahara.
Now, this is a forest on the northwest side of Mount Fuji. Back in
Mount Fuji.
Back in 1864, Mount Fuji erupted, and from this eruption, the lava that flowed,
Rava.
it eventually cooled and laid the foundation for what is now the suicide forest,
The foundation of the forest of suicide.
or it's often called the Sea of Trees. Because
They tried to build the Arby's. We said no.
eventually vegetation began to grow and take over, which
We wanted a P.F. Chang's.
it became very thick, and hence the forest was formed. This forest is actually a popular destination for tourist and school trips.
It's trippy as fuck. Did you look it up?
I've watched a few things on it.
Like, I could see how some of the, I'm sure that there's plenty of bodies found in there that are not suicide. Like, it's like dude, I don't even, there's just so many trees, and they're so intertwined with each other. Like, you could easily just get lost in that fucking place.
Yeah. I know one thing. We're not doing any more Japanese episodes.
Oh.
Because I can't pronounce any of these fucking words.
Show me the word.
But the forest has
Show me the word right now.
In a minute.
Oh,
In a
you
minute.
bring great disrespect on my family.
in a minute. I'll get to it. Where was I at?
I'm loving being able to utilize my
This is the only reason we did this episode.
fucking racial background for this.
The forest has a historical reputation as being the home
Maybe I
of
should take off my glasses so I do look more Asian. Oh, no, I can't talk
what is
with
it?
our white man talk.
What is it? The Yuri?
I must get much closer because I not have glasses. Oh, Yuri?
Yuri.
It's basically just a Russian guy.
A ghost.
There's a Russian guy in the woods, and he's fucking shit up.
Which, according to my research, said the ghost of the dead in Japanese mythology. Yeah, ghost of the dead. Isn't that generally, by definition, a ghost? Do we have to put of the dead?
Or is it all encompassing?
I guess. I don't know.
Like, is this like the chairman of the board for the dead people?
Maybe.
He works in that same office building that they had in Beetlejuice.
I have never seen Beetlejuice.
What? Really?
I just never. I'm not a big Tim Burton fan.
I love Tim Burton. He makes stuff so perfectly dark.
Yeah, I'm not. But
Like that remake of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was bad, but I fucking loved Johnny Depp in that movie. He was like it was like he was trying to be personable and cute sometimes, but the whole time it's just like he's like, "Oh yeah, little boy," and it's like he's trying to be a nice chocolate man. That sounded bad.
that did sound bad.
But you could just look at him and be like, "Oh my god, he's gonna slit all their throats at any minute." Yeah.
But the Yuri is not the only mythological thing floating around in that forest. It is also believed that this culture also has the Tengu, which live in this forest.
Which I think that's a teku.
The
I was
Tengu.
gonna say that's a very aggressive lizard, but that's a teku.
The Tengu is a mythical bird demon that roams the forest. The Tengu is commonly found in Japanese folk religion.
See? In the comments says it even right there. I'm getting back up. Phil brings shame to the show by not seeing Beetlejuice. You bring a great shame onto the ghosts in the night. You see the Beetlejuice. You see it now.
I'm sure
You see the Beetlejuice before the Beetlejuice 2 come out, and then we go see Beetlejuice 2 together.
I'm sure I've seen some of it. It just didn't do nothing for me. Sorry. Fuck it. But
shake, Senora.
These Tengu.
I love getting you out of place on your notes.
The Tengu are considered a type of whatever fucking that word is. God damn.
Yokai?
Yeah.
That one's easy.
I don't want to offend anybody. Yokai. Which basically means supernatural beings. Now, in Buddhism, they have a long history of the Tengu. Basically, they call them disruptive demons. So it's very fascinating.
So do you have any more on the Yuri?
No, you got some more on the Yuri?
Apparently, I don't know if this is all suicides in the country, or if it's just regional, or if it's just from the forest. But apparently, when they remove a body, they store them overnight, and somebody stays with the body. I don't know if it's in the same room or what, to help the Yuri pass on to the other side. And supposedly, according to these people that stay with these bodies, over the course of that night, you will just hear the Yuri screaming while it's trying to find its way to the other side. Which, I need some evidence of that. That would be sad that person has passed on, but if there's fucking screaming going on coming from that room, I would be interested in hearing that.
I did hear that story.
Yeah.
And I heard sometimes they might not even be able to get them out of the forest right away, and somebody has to stay with the body.
Mm-hmm. Well, because that's the crazy thing is, like, they're finding these bodies in various different levels of decomposition.
Oh, right.
Because they don't sweep the forest all the time.
And I'm sure there's some bodies that will, and I'll kind of mention this later on, but I'll say it now too. The vegetation grows so quickly, it can engulf that body before they find it.
Yeah.
There probably are still bodies there.
Probably.
Yeah.
And plus, natural decomposition with the help of ground-dwelling insects and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's any major carnivorous animals in that region. Maybe a bear, because I do believe that there is a Japanese species of black bear that weighs I think under like 300 pounds or less, but as far as I know, most bears are omnivorous and will eat meat. But I seriously doubt that they're very common in that area. It's a tourist attraction. I'm sure that if there are bear in that area, they're like, no, fuck that, get out of here, little fella.
Right. But I do have a question for you.
No, the red panda is not a panda.
No, that was not my question.
Okay.
But now, could these mythological demons, that we've been talking about, they be swarming the forest and causing the chaos and causing people to actually that aren't even thinking about committing suicide?
Damn.
Maybe committing suicide, and especially the people who are on the verge.
That's all part of the lore. You know what I mean? Like, because if you go into thinking on the Native American side, or whatever, First Nation, the OGs, if you will, but all that shit, there's always been stuff with the land.
Yes. There's
always been the spirit of the land and these different things. I mean, pick your poison on what you call it by where you're at in the world. And here you've got Tengus and fucking Yuris, and you got jinns in the Middle East. You got fucking demons in the Roman Catholic Church. You got demons in the Christian Church. You've got fucking banshees, all that. It's all relative to the environment that it's in.
Right. I mean,
it is scarier to think of in this scenario. If you could see them, you just got a bunch of demons just their way through the forest and just being like, that one.
That's very possible. But let's kind of get into the history.
I want to clap those soul cheeks.
Let's get into the history of how this became a suicide forest. They've been basically finding bodies since the 60s, essentially, on a regular basis. But the suicide forest has been associated with suicide and earned the nickname the suicide forest. However, people have been going there for well before the 60s. This is kind of when it became popular. The book Shinichiro Matsumoto, pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Damn, I practiced that shit. But the book, he wrote a book, basically the Towers of Waves. I believe it's Nemio no To.
Move. Nami Noto?
Nami Noto?
You added a whole fucking letter. Namio Noto.
I'm a Westerner, damn it.
Guilo, as we call them, or a round eye.
This book kind of made it popular. Now, annual searches for bodies have been done since the 70s.
Yeah. Because apparently they do them around a holiday.
Right.
Usually.
Right.
Which makes sense.
And I believe Vice did a...
didn't Vice do a documentary about fucking everything? I love Vice, don't get me wrong, but like they've literally covered it. I think they've got to run out of shit soon.
Yeah, they went in with a guy, and I guess he's a geologist, but that is kind of his job. He goes in and walks and tries to find people. And
he'll
talk to people.
Because he's found multiple bodies.
I believe he said over 100.
Yeah,
bodies he's found.
Yeah, because he just reports them like it's just normal for him now. I know. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Now these woods are super dense.
He's my cousin.
Yeah, probably. You're all related anyway.
We all look alike.
I wasn't going to say that.
We all eat dogs and cats.
But it's interesting, though. These woods are so dense that many bodies probably will never be found, like what I said earlier, because of the vegetation grows.
Oh yeah, because he even said that that guy said like there's probably leaps and bounds more bodies over the course of the whole thing, because like you got to think there's bodies from before any of this shit was popular,
right?
100%.
Oh, they've been. I mean,
Japan. Go ahead.
I'd like to know when the forest actually became forest, because the Mount Fuji erupted in 1864, so probably by 1900 it was.
When you got to imagine, there's probably a population somewhere around that area before the eruption, anyway, because Japan is not a massive country. There's not that much real estate to Japan. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you would assume that there's probably clusters of humanity every so often from coast to coast, north to south.
Right. They have
back
walking
in the good days with daimyos and shoguns.
Right. Like we said, this forest is very dense, but they do have walking trails. And at the start of every one of these trails, there's a sign.
Yeah, and they progress throughout the whole fucking forest.
Basically telling the people, the sign says, think about your families. If you're having problems, think about your families.
Which are all valid points.
And they do put a number for the Suicide Prevention Association, trying to discourage people from, which rightfully
Damn, son.
You're getting it on. Now, in 2002, 78 bodies were found inside the forest. However, that record was topped in 2003. Which was, I believe, 105 bodies were discovered in 2003.
God damn.
A lot of bodies, just in one area.
Yeah. Well, because they're not finding every body, period.
Right, and that's
because there's reports of, like, I saw one where they found a guy who, like, his skeleton was completely cleaned, basically.
Right.
And it was just, like, leg bones going into what appeared to be pretty new boots. And like sticking out of the bottom of some pants, so it was just a skeleton fully clothed still. So that body's been there for a while. To not have like any remnants of, well, I'm sure there was some remnants of flesh or blood like in the clothing, but like that motherfucker definitely was not found right away.
Right, but they have. I definitely, that those numbers have to be low, because there's no way they found all the bodies.
Right.
And I don't think it's that big of a forest, but I mean, still, it's so dense.
Like 30 square kilometers or something like that.
Now, all the
It's like
woods,
12 or 13 square miles or
Right.
some shit.
now all woods and every forest area woods.
That's what I'm saying. It made me want to look up the numbers for like even the U.S. national forests because there's got to be a considerable number.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a whole, missing 411's the whole thing about those state parks.
Right.
Yeah. But all woods and all forests are a bit creepy, especially at night.
Especially when they look like this one. Did you look at pictures of this place?
I've seen, yeah.
Like it's fucking. It looks like the suicide forest.
Right.
Like it looks like the forest where bad shit happens.
Right. This is extra.
Even though it is
creepy.
also like kind of beautiful.
Right. But this is,
when the sun's out. It'd be fucking terrifying at night.
all forest and wood areas are somewhat creepy, but you add the fact that everybody knows what people do in here. That
Right.
lends to the creepiness. Plus, there's ribbons all over this place. Because, they can find ribbons all over the forest. Just seeing all these ribbons running through this forest, these paths, and you never know what you're going to find on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because people use these ribbons kind of like breadcrumbs to get their way back, just in case they change their mind, or they just don't want to get lost, or if they're going
like a
to
breadcrumb trail.
if they're going to go ahead and commit suicide, but they're not completely sure of it yet, they're on the side, just in case they change their mind, they can get back. So just knowing you see a ribbon and you, because that documentary I watched from Vice, they even said we might not know what we find on the end. They start following a ribbon.
Yeah.
We might not know what we're going to find. And you see that ribbon, at the other end of that ribbon, there could be a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it's enough to freak anybody out, I would think. It'd probably freak me out a little bit, knowing that at any point I could.
Or like just to walk by one and see
Right.
one and just be like, nah.
Right. The people can find, basically suicide notes
Mm-hmm.
on trees, hammered into trees, or on these ribbons. I mean, tents.
Yeah.
They do
Like full on like half-ass just abandoned campsites.
Right. They do allow camping, I guess. I think I heard they allow it, or maybe they don't. I don't know.
Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea. But these thousands of suicides have to have an effect on this location. However, I think there is, or play effect in how creepy in some of the paranormal experiences people are having.
Well, because it gets to a point where there's so much behind it, so much driving it, that like you basically are getting an environmental tulpa.
Well, we're going to get into that a little bit later. Definitely going to get into that a little bit. But there are some natural reasons for this being so creepy. Just the way it's godly designed, I guess, because it's basically lava rock, and the vegetation grew up through it. So a lot of the roots are exposed, intertangled, intertwined, and it's so dense. And I've never, like I said, I've never been there, but I've heard there's no sound in that place.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna run into stuff.
Well,
Like sound, it can only bounce so many times.
and the lava,
It literally, it's like the fucking the forest from the fight scene between who was it? Was it Johnny Cage and Scorpion in the first Mortal Kombat movie, or Liu Kang? It's just like that one. It was like a nursery basically, where it's just perfect rows of trees. Multiply that by like fucking 6,
right?
And that's what we're dealing with here.
But also the lava rock absorbs sound waves, so that deadens the sound. You have, like you said, the vegetation. People have reported that the only thing you can hear in there basically is your own breathing. You don't hear any rustling, any animal noises. It's just you hear your breathing, and that's about it. And that is enough to freak anybody out. When you're in the woods, you expect to hear some what?
You don't hear anybody drinking out of massive hydro flasks.
Right.
This is like the best purchase I've made in a long time, though. Everybody should have one. I literally fill it up at like lunchtime. Sometimes. Usually I go through 2 or 3. But to wake up in the morning and still have a icy cold water to take a drink of, that'll keep you from visiting the forest.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into, is a suicide forest haunted? Now, the myth and legend of this, that the spirits of the abandoned bodies essentially, and the spirits of these suicide victims torment the visitors that are coming there, not necessarily to commit suicide, and possibly, or even, I should say this, the people who are on the fence about it.
Yeah.
And all these, whether it be these bird demons or the souls of the tormented people that have done it.
It's the Mothman.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I've been looking into that one. There are fucking Mothman adjacent sightings all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to do a Mothman episode.
We will. But
we'll actually go to, what is it, Point
Pleasant.
Place. Yeah,
been through it many times.
we can take pictures with the Mothman's butt.
Sweet.
Have you noticed that? Have you ever noticed that? The Mothman statue, like the famous one, like has a juicy ass.
Sweet. We are checking that bitch out and grabbing us a handful. But could these demons, could these tormented spirits be influencing people? Maybe some of these suicides weren't actually intended to be suicides.
Which is what makes it so terrifying.
Right.
Like, what if there is, like I said earlier, like, what if there is just some shit, like, gallivanting throughout this forest, just waiting for the right person to come along to be like, yup, that one.
No, I mean, and like I was kind of started earlier, I firmly believe that energy can be imprinted onto the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what residual hauntings are.
Yeah.
Suicides.
And we've always talked about the fact that wood seems to, like those old buildings and shit, often seem to hold on to a lot of stuff. And we're literally talking about a fucking forest.
Right.
On top of a porous rock material. So if you're thinking about energy from the standpoint of that, a lot of people that are into the paranormal do something that is physically porous may have a higher chance of absorbing some environmental thing that goes on around it.
Like trees and the vegetation, those are living creatures.
Mm-hmm.
They are breathing. They are taking in that energy.
So they can potentially have a memory just like we can.
Right. And can they produce their own energy, negative energy, and push it, kind of like bring it in and push it back out, which only adds to the...
Or even be like wood nymphs,
right.
like from Lord of the Rings. Where they're like...
You lost me at nymph.
The walking, talking trees from Lord of the Rings.
I know. But I think that is very... All this death, all this pain, the paranormal energy has to be off the hook there.
But here's another thought that I just had. I just fucking fashioned this. I just Jesus carpentered this one in my head just now.
Damn.
Yeah. Is this all just metaphorical and nobody's picking up on it? Because as you said, it's so quiet there. You can just like hear your own breathing if you're far enough out by yourself.
Right.
Are they talking about literal demons running through the forest freely and choosing victims? Or are you putting yourself in a sense of sensory deprivation to a point that the demons in the forest are yourself being forced to see and confront your own demons because there's no other sensory stimulation around you?
That is a very good point. Very good question, Travis. Way to add to the conversation.
Sometimes I do things.
That is very, very possible. I mean...
Because a lot of little shit like that, like the true meanings behind stuff, gets lost in translation over time very often.
The visual part of it doesn't line up, but but the lack of noise and that sensory deprivation, maybe. And especially now, you go at night when you can't see shit. You're completely your senses.
And I mean, best case scenario, you can see as far as your fire or flashlight goes.
Right.
Which in a place that is that dense with trees ain't far.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like that place in wherever the fuck it is. I think it's in the United States. It might be overseas. But there's a room that is so perfectly sound deadened that if you sit in it, you can hear. I think they said like you can hear the blood moving through your body. It's that quiet. and like no human being has ever been able to stand being in that room for more than like 45 minutes. I think was the longest anybody's ever done before they like from what I understand, they basically are like, get me the fuck out of here 2.5 minutes ago right now.
2.5 minutes ago right now.
Yes. So if you take that into effect, like the human body, we're not meant to be alone in silence and all that shit. Like we don't do well. Because that's when every bad thing comes up.
Right.
When there's nothing around. Like even when you're laying in your bed and it's quiet and the TV's off and shit, you still got the wind. You still got the AC. You still got the floor creaking. The dog fucking humping a teddy bear. You got like something. Like to take all that away and just be alone with yourself and whatever's floating around in your head that you've been kicking off to the side. Those very well, as I said, those metaphorical demons could be the demons of the forest that they're talking about.
That's just as plausible as anything else. Or it could be a portion of the same of the problem or what's going on there. Everything combined. But now let's get into the tulpa idea.
Yes.
Now, basically, tulpas are basically we manifest things. Our collective energy, collective thoughts can manifest things into the real world. That is
really what
that's a roundabout.
I thought about that today too.
Term.
And like, really, what a tulpa is monsters to little kids.
Now
it's not real to your parents, but to that little kid, there's a monster in the closet. That's basically kind of the same deal. It's a real world way that like a lot of us have experienced something like this.
Like a lot of people, I mean, there's some people that think that technically is tulpa is just a term that has been used for this phenomenon. It's not really the true meaning of the word, but I'm not going to get into that in this episode. But so I'm just going to use the word tulpa. Basically, tulpa, we think it, we manifest it.
Yeah.
Perfect example of that is Slender Man, which we did Slender Man.
Yeah, Slender Man, a fucking Momo.
Right.
Well, Momo, I guess Momo. At least there was a video for.
Enough collective mental energy is put into it, and it becomes real in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Now, all the popularity of this, everybody who goes there knows what's going on. They're thinking about it. They're possibly manifesting something, just by putting their mental power behind it. The people who actually commit suicide are manifesting shit.
Well, and then if you go to that place, even as a tourist, and you have even the inkling of self-harm or anything like that in the back of your head, like that's, you're just, the chances of that rearing its head, when you're walking into it going, yeah, I was pretty down on myself Tuesday, but it's Thursday and I'm at the suicide forest. Let's go for a walk. Let's go fucking Dorothy our way through this forest with Toto.
So maybe all this collective negativity that is being pushed out by the people in this place, whether it be just visiting or thinking about committing suicide, or the people watching it on, you don't have to be in Japan. Is watching these YouTube videos, listening to this podcast, thinking about it. We are just adding to the problem.
Yeah.
And it's just progressively getting worse and worse and worse. And whatever spiritual type entity, whether it be demons or Yuris or Tengus or whatever, Pikachus, I don't fucking know.
Now that's fucking racist. You had to throw a Pokemon joke in there, huh?
Yes, because you all a bunch of dorks.
You mean you all?
I have nothing to do.
Whatever. I'll take my ramen noodles and my Pokemon cards. You keep your baseball and hot dogs.
But anyway, maybe all this collective energy from the globe now that is following this, thinking about this, has making it even more realistic that there is something supernatural, something paranormal, something demonic or evil or whatever in these woods, and it's drawing the people who are contemplating suicide to it, like a magnet.
Like an involuntary mass hysteria.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. God, you are on it tonight. Damn, did you eat your Wheaties?
Mm-mm. What did I have for breakfast?
Maybe we ought to do these episodes sober more often.
I don't know what I had for breakfast. I think I had a couple meatballs.
We haven't even drank. Damn.
That's how you know that the podcasting is getting better, when we don't need alcohol to grease up the gears.
Now, somebody brought this. I'm drawing close to the end. And you got something on the demon, the demon rock, right? You want to talk?
I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't know how much really there is to break, because it seems like there's a lot of. I've just read a little bit about it at the beginning of this episode. It seems like it's a lot of superstition.
Talk about that, but let's talk about. You can't talk about the suicide forest without talking about what essentially popped this off and made this so freaking famous.
Well, I would like to say that I'm no hipster. I knew about the Aokigahara before this particular YouTube video.
Yes. Now, back in 2018, the infamous...
I guess that would make me a hipster. I was there first.
The I can't even talk. Fuck. The infamous Logan Paul went to the suicide forest and...
in a fucking Toy Story alien hat.
Was vlogging, recording, doing his vlog.
Which is fine.
Which is cool. And he came across a suicide victim.
Yes.
And he videotaped it.
And put it on YouTube.
And uploaded it to YouTube.
And at that point, you're a fucking dick.
Yeah, because he did not censor it in any way, shape, or form.
Even if you blur it, you're a fucking dick. That is not for your YouTube views. That's not cool. I don't like that.
I would say I will disagree in one aspect of this. If depending on how it's shot, if you're shooting while you're walking and you come across
and you go, oh shit, and the camera turns off, yeah, maybe,
or at least point the camera another way. But there is that brief second.
I don't even know about that. I need the camera to be pointed the other way, and then if I'm the star of the show, I'm like, dude, just turn that shit off. Now is not the time for that.
I'm not upset with that.
I don't know. Me personally, everything in my mind tells me I would instantly like push the camera down, be like, all right, we need to call the fucking cops or the park rangers, and we might as well cut the fucking camera now. We'll start recording at the hibachi place when we get there. What?
Hibachi place.
I seriously doubt they have hibachi all over Japan. It's white guys. It's white guys just fat with their gut hanging out and like stains on their shirt flipping burgers. That's Japanese hibachi. Yeah. Welcome to fucking McDonald's. Ugh.
No, I mean, it was in poor taste. We'll agree that worst case or best case he should have done, or worst case.
That camera should have been turned off.
But
very quickly.
Should have been, but if you didn't, at least blur the shit out.
Yes. Also, without doubt, blur it out. Right. Are you fucking kidding? Like, because my first thought with all this when this happened is that video was up for a very short period of time.
Oh yeah.
How do you know that some young man named Hattori Suzuki, who's like yeah, some young Japanese native named Bill, isn't like your fucking biggest fan and it jumps on your uploads as soon as you fucking put them up, and then he goes, oh, that's Uncle Craig,
right, or that's Dad.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing with yourself?
Now we know what happened to Dad.
Yeah,
it was.
Oh, he not to get to the milk.
No, but really,
Mother, we needed a milk still. Father, not get
the proverbial shitstorm that this video, rightfully so, started. Was, advertisers freaked out about this, and I think it was called Adpocalypse or whatever, when they
Adpocalypse.
There you go.
Yeah,
that set off YouTube had to make some changes.
Yeah,
because advertisers were pissing, and that is where you had to have so many back before that.
I still can't. I'll be honest, like, and I'm not hating on Logan Paul. Like he's made buku dumb amount of dollars doing what he does. He's good at what he does. Like, I'm not trying to hate on him, but I will say I am shocked, like actually shocked, that YouTube didn't at least kick him off of YouTube for a period of time.
It might have been suspended. It might have been suspended.
As far as I know, the
maybe.
only lasting effects were the fact that he couldn't run some level of ads or something like that.
Well,
or any ads. I don't know the
this
exact.
Sparked the whole. Before this, anybody could apply to, I believe, it was a lot lower. Now you have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours.
Yeah,
it was a lot lower before.
Mm-hmm.
After this, they rechanged everything, came up with the 1,000 subscribers, and which, let's be honest, that's bullshit. It had nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
This way, they could YouTube. You ain't fooling me, motherfuckers. I'm on to you. They can charge more money because the people have a bigger following.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
That's all this was.
Naturally.
That was just an excuse. Okay, we can charge more.
Yeah, they're basically saying you can't put advertisements on your video unless you're at least flirting with the idea of monetizing your channel.
Right. Well, you have to apply to the program, but you have to have a big enough audience to even make it now.
Yeah.
To where I think before this, which
at the same time makes, like, I'm not going to say that doesn't make some sense.
For them, financial sense, because they can.
Well, not even for them, for the people, for the companies that are trying to advertise as well. Like, why the fuck would Gain laundry detergent want to be on our show? They'd be like, first off, well, I mean, I guess everybody is there, fucking whatever the fuck, because everybody should be doing laundry, I hope. But like, what the fuck good are we gonna do a big, like, Fortune 500 or Fortune 500 company by running their ads on our shit?
Maybe Gregory, maybe Izzy would find something.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, there's a fucking drop in the ocean to them.
But because we can't now. They limited the amount of people who get ads, so they can charge more to Tide or P&G. They can charge P&G more because they're getting,
don't eat Tide Pods.
No, don't be a dumbass. But I believe we would be monetized right now in 2017.
Oh, probably.
Yes, because we don't have that big of a following. But we have bigger than most. We have bigger than some of our critiquers. Oh shit! I'm dropping shit.
That sucks. But yeah, no, I'm actually shocked that there wasn't more blowback from that situation. Not to say that, I don't think that it was Logan Paul, right? I don't think, like, by no means should he have been, like, ostracized from all the communities that he's a part of, or fucking publicly shamed or anything like that. Like, he did come out and apologize, but, like, I still am not the biggest. I'm still not the biggest fan, and I don't have to be the biggest fan of the way that situation was handled.
It was a young,
stupid
mistake, which young people make.
They do.
Old people make them too, but
And still, that'll never stop me from saying, like, even at the age that he was at, he should have known better.
But
he did not handle. They did that group. I don't know how many people were there. I don't know how he runs things. I don't know if he has cameramans and blah blah blah. It was handled in poor taste. Not even in poor taste, poor form, if you will. I mean,
but it is what it is. But it did bring the Suicide Force even more in the mainstream, which
is that good or bad?
I would say bad if you believe in manifestation or this energy or this Tulpa concept. The more people,
it's gonna send more people there,
right? And more energy, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, and if this is already a thing that's happening regularly, you're going to send more people there, and that is subsequently, I would think, would have to, at some point, raise the numbers that they're already dealing with.
Right. That's all I got, really. You want to talk about that? I heard something about that demon stone splitting.
Let me read here. I don't know. I didn't know about it until it
while you're looking up, I was talking to a friend of ours.
Yes.
And she told me that in her For You page on TikTok, she keeps seeing our video, our little shorts, our TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you liking them or hearting them or whatever?" And she said, "No."
Why?
And I said, "What the fuck? Why?" And she said, "Well," and I'm not going to say her name. I think you know who I'm talking.
I'll figure it out.
Generally, it's probably working right now.
Okay.
Little spark plug. But she said, well, and I'm going to out her here. She goes, because I only like recipe videos. That way I use them as categorize my recipes. I said, what? I said,
do you know how algorithms work?
And so she gets more recipe. Right. She
Yeah.
gets more. Yes. I said, so you won't like our videos or heart our video, whatever it is on TikTok, because it's not a recipe. You only do recipe. So tonight, right now, we're coming up with a recipe for her, so we'll at least get one like from her.
That is fucking bullshit. I'm pissed. The more likes and shit that you get, the more it gets pushed.
I know.
I'm not trying to be fucking thirsty here, but like,
so we're gonna have
you're supposed to be my friend.
For her to give us a like, we're gonna have to the Ghost in the Night shit potatoes or something.
Man, this might be bad if you believe the lore behind this thing.
We'll read it.
This is coming from dailymail.co.uk. So Daily Mail. An ancient Japanese killing stone, in quotations, which is said to contain an evil demon that will kill anyone who comes in contact with it, has split in two, sending superstitious believers into a state of panic. Stone is located in the mountainous regions of Tochigi, north of Tokyo, where visitors were given a shock over the weekend when they found it separated into two roughly similar-sized parts. That's reported by The Guardian. And according to mythology, this famous piece of volcanic rock called the Sessho Seki contains the transformed corpse of Tomomo no Mai.
Say that 3 times real fast.
Tomomo no Mai, a beautiful woman whose true identity was said to have been an evil 9-tailed fox. Oh, so now we're getting into even more fucking lore here, because the 9-tailed, like that's an actual thing. Like that's part of the sleeve tattoo that I want.
Oh, the 9-tailed fox?
The face. There's a mask for it. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but like, yeah, my Japanese sleeve tattoo has a lot of references in it. That's why I haven't gotten it yet. It needs to be just fucking right. So legend has it that she was part of a plot to kill Emperor Toba, who ruled from 1107 to 1123. And then her spirit was said to have been embedded into the stone, where it would kill anyone who came in contact with it. In contact with the stone or in contact with the spirit?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Both.
don't know.
I don't know. I'll say stone.
Apparently they say that it was destroyed years ago and a monk exorcised it. So
what did he do? Curls with it? Squats? Holding it?
Right? He cleaned it and jerked himself. But
he polished the knob and the rock. Yeah, are we going to hell for that? Making jokes about monks?
What the fuck? So, I mean, I don't believe in religion, so what the fuck do I care about?
That is true.
Talking shit about it. I wouldn't say I talk shit. At least I can, like, at least morally back up what I have to say about religion. Like, if all this is God's plan fucking sucks.
He's a bit of a dick sometimes.
Yeah, little kids still get fucking cancer and shit. Your plan fucking sucks, dickhead. What's plan B?
Come up with a new plan.
Yeah, get off your royal shitter on cloud 9 over there. Stop finger banging Aphrodite and get on your shit and write a new fucking plan where small children don't die of terminal fucking diseases.
I'll just go take the vacation from kicking me in the nuts.
Yeah. One tour said, I feel like I've seen something that shouldn't be seen. Go fuck yourself, Karen. Just the latest horror of 2022. One person used a joke that the spirit would want to spend another millennium stuck inside the rock after looking at the current state of the world. Good one. That's never been said before. I've been saying for years that if Jesus was going to come back, he's already done it. And he turned around and said, y'all fuck this up. I'm coming back I'm coming back for the next species. Fuck y'all. I'm going to come back and save the fucking kangaroos. Fuck humans. But rainwater seeped into cracks and first, no way. Cracks which first appeared several years ago. No, you're telling me that erosion broke a rock?
It's mythical.
That is out of the question. It was a demon escaping.
Yes.
Eat a fucking fat sack of dicks.
I think this is a bunch of bullshit. I'm going to go out on a limb.
Well, and then Masaharu this guy's very realistic. Masaharu Sugawara told a Japanese newspaper, Yomiuri Shimbun, that it was a shame because it was a good tourist attraction. So everybody's freaking out about demons. This guy's like, fuck, man. You know how many? I'm not going to give as many tours now.
Hey, it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
But it's agreed that rainwater was the likely cause of the split. No shit,
Not a
Sherlock. No, go well, fist fuck me with some scientific fact, why don't you? Jesus Christ. But yeah, what's this last? National government officials will decide that happens. Really? That's how serious we're taking this? Shimotsuke Shimbun newspaper reported that local and national government officials will decide what happens to the stone now, with one official saying he would like it returned to its original form. The fuck do you mean? You're going to quick-crete that bitch back together?
Quickly.
Is that how this works?
JB Weld.
You like, oh, what are we just gonna? Are we gonna put on the goggles from Ghostbusters and just try to grab that? Here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna take the goggles from Ghostbusters that allow you to see spirits, and then they're gonna take SpongeBob's fucking jellyfish catching net because it has magical powers, I'm assuming. And then they're gonna catch the little bitch, and they're gonna shove her back in the rock, and then they're gonna quick-crete and fucking Gorilla Glue that bitch back together. Or I don't know, whatever version of Gorilla Glue they have in Japan. T-Rex, I don't fucking know. Godzilla grew. Gruzera. Get to the Gruzera. We put the bitch back in the rock. Fuck that shit. My cousin, he have a smart ratchet strapper. We bring it, put it on a
Japanese.
What the fuck? Like, I want it to be returned to its original form. Bitch, you can't just stick a rock back together and expect it to be the same. Welcome to the tour. We're now going to go see the Demon Rock. This is the Demon Rock. I swear to God, that is not a clear rejoining of the two halves. It's still original. The fuck?
I don't know. I mean,
go ahead and put that shit back together. I'm going to send Antiques Roadshow out there, and those two twin brothers are going to be like, yeah, this bitch broke for sure. And I can tell. Hold on. Let me feel it. Yeah, no, you didn't get the demon. It's still on the loose. I would have felt it. The fuck? Like,
I know. What
are we gonna do, headmaster of the park services? Like I said, like that's not how it works. Shove the whore back in there and close the motherfucker up.
I've heard this story. When did this happen? What's the date on this?
Let's see. The date of this publication is the 8th of March, 2022.
So this month.
Yes.
What do you want to bet? By mid-April, that fucking rock is in Zach Bagans' museum.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. It's not even like that impressive of a scene. It's like this fucking like just gravelly part of a grassy hillside that has a fucking sign with Japanese shit. That's the rock. It just looks like a fucking rock to me. It's a little bigger than the other ones.
I think some guy was just cleaning it and dropped it. Said, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, here's another idea. Just fucking chop that bitch up into fucking, what do they call them, geodes or whatever, and sell that shit on Etsy. Just say it's got a spirit attached to it. Apparently, you can price hike shit like 5 times if you do that.
This pen is a spirit.
Dude, somebody will buy it. If you say you're a psychic medium and say that pen is haunted, somebody will buy it.
Karen is inside this pen.
I see it all the time. And I'm not denouncing the legitimacy of some of these people, but there are people all over the world that like buy shit from fucking like yard sales and shit, and they're like, this is a Jack in the Box. Inside the Jack in the Box, there's a spirit named Steven. He does silly little things around the house, just silly. He's a silly goose.
Well, we've all heard of the Dybbuk box, right?
Yeah,
that's all that is.
The original Dybbuk box. Do you know the original Dybbuk box story? It is still a story,
but you can go on Amazon or whatever and buy. That's all these.
Oh yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, people just buy fucking boxes and they're like, put some shit in it, seal it with fucking wax. And then next thing you know, some guy on YouTube's like, I saw a video. A guy was opening one, and a fucking sign, like a poster, fell off his wall and shit. And I'm like, oh, I eat a fucking fat sack of donkey cocks.
Well, you know,
That's about as believable as this spirit bitch fucking. Like, what the fuck? what legitimacy do they have to this? I would like to see what they think this went. Was there nobody around when the rock broke? That'd be some funny shit. If there was just a tour, it's just sitting there like, this rock is a demon rock. It has a demon inside of it, and it just ding, and like falls into two pieces, and everybody like it's just one slight from all the people, and then they're just kind of sitting there looking at each other, and they're like, what? Nothing's happening. Should we die now? I don't know. I got a tickle in the back of my throat. I think.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 90% of all this bullshit is all.
Well, yeah, no shit. Because like my whole thing is like, why that rock?
Because
is there something special about that specific rock, or were you just going around?
The monk whacked off on it and rubbed it.
Allegedly. So. Real in my mind, that means that it's somebody. Somebody was just walking along one day and saw this rock and was like, "Come here,
pick this one up.
Come here, Morimoto.
Morimoto.
You too, Shinzu.
And then there's
you see this here rock? We're writing a story about it. This rock gonna be famous, boys. We're gonna name this rock Sheila." And this bitch got a demon inside of it. Write it up. Right to left, up and down, the way we do things. Get out your giant fucking painting pen and ink and fucking start scraping that shit out onto some fucking rice parchment. And then fucking 300 years later, you got a bunch of white people like, ooh, demon rock. And then you got fucking... I'm surprised that it came out. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't find it like before they started doing tours and shit, and they just didn't stick the bitch back together. Like, why does it look different from the last time we were here? 'Cause shut the fuck up, Stephanie. That's why, you fucking dickhead. You leave my goddamn rock alone. My rock is here living its best life. Eat a fat sack of dicks.
So what you're saying is there's no demon and it's all bullshit.
I'm going to fucking venture to guess that this fucking... Did you see the picture?
Yeah, you showed it.
It's just a fucking rock on the side of a hill. What the fuck? That's like me in the area we live in. That's like just because I see a certain like I'll be like, nope, that heroin needle's evil.
Oh, I'm sure there's a demon inside that motherfucker.
If they're not, either there's a demon inside of it, or it was inside of one.
Yes, probably.
Or several, probably.
Yes.
Don't share needles.
Yes. All right. You got anything else you want to cover?
Rock. I don't know, but fucking Godzilla glue was a good one.
That was.
If that's not a thing, we should make it. I'm sure we can figure out the ingredients to glue and make Godzilla glue.
We'll trademark that right now.
It can stick anything together. That was fucking stupid.
Yeah. So this.
In our synopsis here is Suicide Forest. Interesting. Is it real suicide, or is it real demons? Is it your inner demons? Is it all metaphorical? Is it all just convenience?
Or is it turned into something supernatural because of all the energy?
As in a double effect. And then our secondary point is, fuck you. It was just a rock that broke in half. Guess what? I would venture to guess that anywhere from 1 to about 600,000 fucking rocks that size break in half across the world every day. Nobody in fucking Estonia gives a shit when the rock breaks. Nobody in fucking Kenya gives a shit when the rock breaks. The only time somebody gives a shit when the rock breaks is apparently when it's a fucking tourist attraction. Oh no, the rock breaker, the demon.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go out and get some rocks and we're gonna sell them.
They're
demons.
That's live demon rock breaking.
If you're listening to this, don't buy one. It's fake, but we're gonna see how much we're gonna
break them live on stream.
Oh yeah.
Live demon rock breaking, and then we'll just make a Dybbuk box out of a shoe box. I got some shoe boxes at the house.
A Bud Light box.
I got some shoe boxes and Bud Light boxes and a fucking candle or a wax warmer in my house. We got this.
Or
I'll just put like a couple of old pairs of socks and like some pubes in there.
You can make a divot box out of a Skyline container.
I got plenty of those too.
Because trust me, a demon came out of that motherfucker.
No,
it's coming out your ass.
A demon is formed from that motherfucker.
Oh, which I haven't had in a while.
I had that last night. It wasn't time for a meal that wasn't somewhat healthy, but by the time I got off work, I'd been there for like 12 and a half hours, and it was fucking like 9:45.
I was watching Billions before you showed up.
I don't know what that is.
It's a TV show on Showtime.
We did a Japanese episode today. I don't know what Billions is. It's billions.
But it had the guy who's a rich guy, obviously. It's about billionaires.
No way.
Yeah, hence the name. Creative writing.
Interesting.
One of the scenes he went and he
unlike how Entourage was about one person.
Right. But he went in the scene. He said, I flew to Cincinnati and got you some Skyline. Had a Skyline bag.
What the fuck?
And to New York. I was like, Skyline.
Huh. I don't know. I keep hearing that some people from out of the area don't like it.
Oh,
apparently Gonzo didn't like it.
We've had this discussion.
Better half had a exchange student back in the day.
Well, from where?
Spain, I think.
Oh, fuck Spain.
Why? Because they don't like Skyline. They're like, yeah, because they come here and try Skyline and don't like it. They're
Fuck
like, no,
them.
I come from an area where they have actual spices and deliciousness.
Yeah, Nazi people.
I don't know why. No, you Nazi.
Nazis.
You Spanish Nazis. Fuck you and your amazingly good football teams. And your paella.
Soccer, fuck that shit too. That's boring. I'd rather jack off with a cheese grater.
I don't know. I can watch soccer when the World
I
Cup
can't.
when the
Boring.
World Cup's on.
Boring.
Get my vuvuzela out.
Now, naked female soccer, I would watch. Didn't they outlaw those? You can't use those anymore.
I hope so. Because goddamn, that World Cup that year was fucking annoying.
All right. I think that's going to wrap up this episode unless you want to talk about something. We stretched it to an hour and a half.
I'm shocked. Hey, we got the Demon Stone. Fucking
We got the Demon Stoned. Awesome.
I wonder if that's a thing.
I wonder if you can get stoned as a demon or as a ghost. Get a contact buzz.
Or maybe they can't, and that's why they're so fucking pissy all the time.
Maybe. But
it's like getting
these
hangry.
Are questions for you to ponder. Maybe
That's another one. Why doesn't anybody try to give fucking a demon a Snicker? You're not yourself when you're hungry.
No. It'll turn into Gabriel.
Right. Maybe every demon is an angel waiting to happen. They just need a Snicker bar. Or, pick your poison. Kit Kat. Whatchamacallit?
We've done our good deed for the day.
Cookies and cream Hershey's.
Eh.
I like white chocolate though. Everybody's like, it's not chocolate. I don't give a fuck if it's not chocolate. I like it.
It's not chocolate.
I don't
I'm
like
a
brown,
racist. I don't like white chocolate.
I don't like brown things.
All right. The next week. What are we doing next week? Do you know?
BTK.
BTK killer. That Travis is going off on that shit.
Yeah, I got a lot of shit to write out about that one.
He's got a 3-inch Woody just waiting.
I'll tell you what, I'm excited for, I think we got Ed Kemper on the board sometime in the next 2 months. That one's whole. If there is a fucking, like, Mount Rushmore or dollar bills
Dollar bills
of serial killers, he's fucking on them.
Oh,
that guy did some gnarly shit, and he was huge.
Before we go off here, we got a very nice comment, at least unless he's being a douche.
I think demons would like Mounds Bar since that candy is evil. No, I'd say it's Mounds isn't that bad. I'd say it's like what are those fucking things called? Those
Almond
wafers.
Joys?
No, I like Almond Joys actually. Which is weird. I don't like coconut, but I like candied coconut. Depending on what it is. Or I like coconut on a German chocolate cake. Those fucking goddamn multicolored wafers that like only grandmas eat because they're literally drier than the fucking body of Christ. You know what I'm talking about. They're like supersized Smarties, but they don't taste good. And it's like they just fucking baby powder on them when they fucking package them.
I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
I'll take your word for it.
It's literally like here kids, have Tums as a candy. But it actually tastes fucking worse.
Necco wafers?
Yes. Those fucking
Look at
things.
Gregory. Gregory is the
They're
man.
awful. They're fucking terrible. Whatever demon crawled out of that rock, I would rather lick its taint than eat one of those fucking wafers. What?
I'm just reading. What the?
I just keep looking at our CPU usage with this new computer. It's literally like a fifth of what it was with the laptop.
Yes. We got a comment on a video.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Which one? The one on our promo?
Yes, the promo.
Yeah.
And what this gentleman said, I think it's a gentleman. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm misgendering you. I can't see the picture. I don't have my glasses on. And I can't tell by your name, so that's okay. But he or she says, that has to be the best advert for a paranormal podcast I've ever seen. Let me just go ahead and heart that, even if you were being a sarcastic. Oh, I can't heart it.
Facetious, as they say.
If you were being serious, thank you. If you were being condescending, thank you again.
If you were being condensation.
If you were leaking on the walls, thank you. We appreciate that. Be sure to leave us a review on, if you listen to this podcast on your favorite audio app, be sure to rate and review. We need to get back up in the charts. We're
killing it in the Czech Republic. Yeah.
The Czechs love us, baby.
I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if that's because, like, if we're number 11 in the Czech Republic, does that mean that there's 12 podcasts in our fucking genre there? Oh yeah, I was playing shit in Czech the last time. I said something about licking buttholes. Well, my phone did. I was not responsible for those translations. I don't know. It just went off on its own.
But
Viva la Czech Republic. I don't know.
That is.
Hopefully, there's not any fucking war going on there.
Well, I hope I just like the right thing. Okay.
Oh, and by the way, I speak for both of us in saying we haven't touched on this one yet. GITN podcast, at least on my behalf, stands behind the Ukraine. Fuck Russia.
I don't really. I'm going to say this, and this might get in trouble. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, like, it doesn't affect me directly, but if I had to pick a side, I'm going with the Ukraine. Like, Russia can just fuck off. Putin can go fuck himself. He's literally just trying to do something to make himself important before he gets murdered and taken out of office.
After the past 2 years, I'm fucking brain fried.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
There's like it's a drop. I don't want to say it's a drop in the or drop in the bucket, but like there's been a lot going on, and it like no wonder everybody wants to be shocked. Of course, somebody started a war after all this shit, and of course it was fucking Putin. Because like I said, that motherfucker's just trying to do something to keep himself relevant before Russia offs him and to get him out of office to put somebody else in there. Personal opinion.
I am like Rockhound in Armageddon. I'm sitting on that nuclear warhead, just yippee-ki-yay in it, watching. I got a front row seat to the world.
What was his name? Was it Larry?
Who?
Bruce Willis's character? No, Harry.
Harry.
He said, Harry, I know that what's been going on, but I would really like this responsibility while he's tied up in his fucking chair because he was freaking out. Harry, no, I love you. Take care of my little girl, AJ.
I'm just saying, my give a fucks. I've given them all out.
I mean,
0 fucks are being given in anything anymore.
I don't know. I'm still human. I think it's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid what's going on, really, is the problem. There's no legitimacy behind any of this.
But.
Well, somebody asked me about it. They're like, why is this happening? I was like, fucking land. That's it. Everybody says cash is king. Cash ain't shit. Land is king.
No, from what, I'm not completely well versed in it, but from what, this is going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, because they want their natural resources.
But, well, and plus, Russia does not want NATO that close to their borders. And Ukraine, they want to join NATO, blah, 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 blah. And the pipeline.
Of course they do.
I mean, it's a big clusterfuck. It's a bunch of big swinging dicks just pissing each other off.
Yeah, and Russia can fucking suck its own big swinging dick. I'm sure it's hairy. It smells like fucking vodka and I don't know.
I just don't.
Whatever they eat in Russia.
Only thing that pisses me off, apparently the Ghost of Kiev was bullshit. That wasn't real. That hurt. That's why I'm not getting behind shit. That was a fake story. That is a story I could get behind. And those one guys that said fuck you to the Russian ship, that was all propaganda. It was all fake. You know, on the island, he said on the loudspeaker said, "Fuck you, guys. Fuck you, Russia."
Yeah,
that was fake too.
Oh,
fuck this bullshit. I
don't know, but it's like I said on Twitter. Alex Terrible and Slaughter to Prevail took their stand.
Okay.
As a band from Russia,
It's
I was
official.
shocked by that.
GTIN Media.
GITN?
GITN, whatever the fuck the name of this shit is. We stand behind Ukraine.
I mean,
You know what I stand behind?
I definitely don't stand behind Russia.
I like to stand behind a
Sheep?
stripper,
Ugh.
mainly female. A new first week on the job, first night.
Or like one of the ones that like takes the job seriously. Because I had this conversation the other day. I've met more strippers that are like about that money, professional as fuck, than I have like the strippers you see on like TV and movies. I've also never been to a strip club. I've never had a desire.
Oh, I put many a girl through college.
I don't see the point.
Yeah,
Hey. Pay money to see these titties you can't play with.
depends on the fucking strip club. Just saying.
I don't know, but this might be a good time to end it because I just lit us up.
All right, we're out. Thank you. Be sure to
Get you a taste of that.
be sure to
There's your fucking suicide forest demon right there.
be sure to share this video. Be sure to follow us on all social medias. Instagram at ghost_night_podcast. TikTok GITN.podcast. Twitter at night_ghost. And Ghost in the Night on Facebook.
That's the Ghost of Skyline right there.
Be sure to, if you want extra bonus material, go to patreon.com/GITN podcast. That's going to wrap up this episode.
Oh, shit.
Thanks for everybody that was in the live chat or the live stream chatting up the storm. We appreciate it. Come back next week. There might be an episode Friday, Paranormal Headline News. I don't know if Travis will be here. If not,
I gotta look at my schedule.
I will do that. I will fly solo. And my nose hairs are fucking disappearing. I can't even keep a straight face. I'm fucking out of here.
Bye.
See ya.